Okay, reaction video. What is the dumbest thing an American has said to you? This is part three. Uh, let's see what we got.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Okay, so just recently while the elections were happening, I had a girl ask me if I was voting for Biden or for Trump. I said neither.
You can't vote for anybody because I don't think he's an American citizen.
I'm in Australia, and she said it doesn't matter, every vote counts. I had to explain to her that it's just her country voting, not the whole world.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So when I was like 20, I studied in Kyoto, Japan for like 6 months. And during that time, I got a job in an Irish pub because, of course, I did. And one day, this American man comes in, he's like in his 40s, and whenever he hears my accent, he starts delivering this speech to everyone about how much he thinks he knows about Ireland. So here's me thinking I'm being friendly, and I was like, oh yeah, I can see why you would think this thing, but it's actually more like this. And he's like, well, you wouldn't really know because you're not really Irish.
Oh, joy.
You're black Irish. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means, but anyway, yeah, I'm Irish. And he's like, no, I have a great grandmother from Ireland, and that's why I'm really Irish. You don't even look like one. And I was like, no.
You racist bastard. You're black Irish, so that means you're not really Irish?
I was not about to lose my nice job over this man, so I was just like, give him his gin and tonic. But he was so angry and so livid that I claimed to be Irish that he brought his co-worker in the next day to test if I was Irish or not. Me and the co-worker turned out we were from the same town, and he was like, yeah, she's Irish, and he was so pissed off!
That's just absolutely idiotic. That you would actually bring somebody back in to confirm that she's Irish. That's just dumb.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I think I might make a series out of this, but this is the first thing that comes to my mind every time someone asks me a question like this. So, in 2015, I moved to the US, and I was a junior in high school at the time, and I was talking to some girls, and they were like asking me questions about Greece. These girls were seniors in high school, and this one girl goes, after I said something about school in Greece and how different it is from school in the US, she goes, oh my God, it's so weird. I feel like you're like from a whole another country.
She is from a whole other country. Greece is a whole other country. It's right across the Atlantic Ocean. It's a whole other country. Please, we are not all this dumb. We are not all this stupid. Please do not judge us based on these videos.
Because I am.
Us United States citizens. Some of us get it.
And that was when I realized that education in the US is a scam.
Well, maybe not. Maybe the people who are, based on that, I can see where you came up with that impression. I'm not going to argue. I was about ready to, but no. I'm not going to argue that one.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So I was in San Diego last year. I was at a service station, just filling up the car with petrol. And I go up to the cashier and I'm like, oh yeah, just the petrol, thanks, mate. And he goes, oh shit, is that an accent? Where are you from? I'm just from Australia. Oh wow, that's like a really long way away. So did you fly here or did you drive here?
Did you drive here? Australia is a continent surrounded by water. Did you drive here?
I flew? Yeah, it's probably a little bit too far to drive, isn't it? I think about this all the bloody time. Like a howdy?
It was reminiscent of a joke I once heard a long time ago, but I'm not going to go into that joke. But that's unbelievable.
What?
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So I am from Italy, but I have lived and worked in the United States for a while. One day this guy comes up to me and he's like, how do you become a mafia member?
You have to fill out an application and you have to take it to the local pizza joint, assuming it's owned by Italians, and you turn it in there, and then you probably have to look. This is absolutely idiotic. Not everybody in Italy, or Sicily for that matter, is a mafioso. Okay, and nor would they have any inclination to tell you how to become one, because that's just ignorant.
And I'm like, a mafia member? Out what? And it was like, yeah, is there like an interview to do? Is there like someone you go to apply? And I'm like, what? Apply in the mafia? This man, grown ass man, thought being in the mafia was just a regular job, just like being an assistant or a teacher or a doctor.
And also saying just because you're Italian, you know how to get in touch with somebody who's in the mafia.
Do you really think we have mafia universities here in Italy? Or do we just show up at the mafia boss being like, yo, dude, I want to work for you? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's go kill some people. Hello!
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I mean, no shade to Americans because I do dumb shit all the time.
We all do dumb shit all the time.
But I once had a lady comment on a post when I said, thank God it's Friday. And she said, it's Thursday, hun. And I said, no, in Australia it's Friday. And then she accused me of gaslighting her, to which I answered, I'm going to blow your mind when I tell you that it's actually summer in Australia too, while you're in winter. And then she called me a terrorist.
A terrorist. Because she told you that in the summer months in Australia it's winter and you're, I knew that. And you're a terrorist?
I'm kind of curious. What
A terrorist?
is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Okay, so true story. When I was a teenager, I was in Arizona visiting my best friend who lived out there, and I was there for the summer. And we met this girl, and she complimented my top, and she was like, oh, I really like your top. Where'd you get it? And I was like, Singapore. She goes, oh, is that a mall?
No, it's a country.
I look at her and I was like, no, it's in Asia. And I kid you not, she goes, is Asia a mall?
Asia's a continent. I believe it's the biggest continent, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So first of all, I think I could probably make an entire series on this because I've been in America for a while and I've heard some pretty crazy things. When I went to high school, I went to boarding school in Utah, and on the first day we were in class and the teacher came in and went through roll, and as the teacher was going through roll, they told us that if you come from a country where English is not your first language, I'm going to write your name down and you're not going to get graded as harshly because we don't think it's fair. I'm thinking, wow, that's like really good for them, you know, especially a couple of these students. They're struggling to speak English in the time that I've met them and talking to them. So he gets to me finally on the roll and he says, Bailey. I said, yes, here. I'm from Australia. And he goes, Australia. And he turns around and writes my name down. I'm thinking, what's going on? Everyone starts kind of
They speak English in Australia.
Talking around. I'm like, shut up. I went in with a 2.9 GPA my junior year. I graduated with a 4.0.
That actually may have been the smartest move. I mean, that shows you're smarter than the teacher. That brilliant. That's brilliant.
What's the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Oh, I love your Chinese accent. I'm French, born and raised.
I'm kind of curious.
That's just too funny, to be honest with you. That's just too funny. Just because you look like a Chinese, well, she may be of Chinese descent, but she's from France. You know, there are Americans of Asian descent, and yeah, that's just brilliant.
Curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Okay, so I tell this story like all the fucking time. But basically, I'm from Spain, which is in Europe, for those that don't know.
I did know.
And my senior year of high school, I was a foreign exchange student in Vegas, in Nevada. And I was in my math class, and this girl that was like white, blue eyes, blonde hair.
It always seems to be the girls with the white hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, white, blue eyes, blonde hair, that do these things.
And she comes to me, she's like...
or at least in these stories, it seems like that.
She said something like, "Is there a lot of people that look like me in Spain?"
I think there's a lot of people that look, well, yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, most people look like me, but there are some people that look like you because you're just blonde, blue eyes, like you said." And she was like, "Yeah, because you guys are not white," or some shit like that. And I was like, "I am white, like, hello?" And she was like, "Yeah, but not really white. But there's some white people because you guys were colonized." And
I don't know what to say about this.
I was like, honey, we are the colonizers.
Yeah, the Spanish conquistadors. I don't know what to say.
I'm kind of curious. What is the
That has to be one of the dumbest things. Good God.
dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So I live in Cancun, Mexico, and I've been working with American tourism for around 6 years now. And there was this time when a guy in his 40s came to the resort I was working in. It was his first time in Mexico, and he told me he wanted to book some tours. So I started writing down all the tours he wanted to do. He told me he wanted to visit Chichen Itza, Tulum, and Machu Picchu. So I stopped writing
Machu Picchu is in Peru.
and told him Machu Picchu was not in Mexico, it was in Peru. And he asked me how much would it take to get there in a taxi.
Probably an awful lot of money, because if you're in Mexico, you got to go all through Central America to get down. I think you'll an awful lot of money.
I told him it would take around from 5 to 6 hours by plane, and he was so mad. He began complaining that how come if we also had Mayan ruins, no one told him Machu Picchu was not here.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Okay, so this is when I was working in a bar in Edinburgh many, many years ago, and this guy kept on saying, this American dude was in, and he was like, you're not Scottish. You're not, well...
Okay.
I didn't say Scottish yet, Scotch. You're not Scotch, I'm a...
Scotch? You're not a drink?
Scotch American, because my last name I saw on a clan map, and so that's how I know where my clan comes from. I've never seen your name on a clan map. I was born at the fucking Inverness General Hospital. You be dead.
What is the dumbest thing an American...
You didn't see your name on a clan map. That's brilliant.
American has ever said to you?
So I was raised in Australia and I moved to the US when I was almost 11 years old. And in 8th grade, this girl asked me like, "Oh, where is Australia?" And I was like, "Oh, like America's here, Australia is here. Like they're two separate continents, two separate countries." And she was like, "Oh, but like, where is Australia?" And I was like, "America's here, Australia's here." And she was like, "But like, where in America is Australia?"
Oh, it's 3 states over, 2 states up.
And I was like, it's not in America. It's a different country, a different continent. Like,
there are other places around the world other than the United States. Please, if you're outside of the United States, I've never been to the United States, we are not all this daft. I assure you of that. There are some people who are stupid, but we are not all this dumb.
America's here, Australia's here. And she was like, "But like, what state is it in? Like, is that like a city or a state?" And I was like, "It's neither, it's a different country." And she was like, "But like, America's the whole world." And I was like, "No, baby girl, it's not." And she really thought that America was the whole world and that Australia was in America, and like, the US education system sucks, so they're all fucking.
Well, my niece is a teacher, and she does an actually good job, and she knows that Australia is not in the United States, so take that for what it's worth.
Idiots.
What's a piece of information that...
Yeah, we are not all this dumb, okay? And this is the 3rd video I've done on this, and yeah, I'm not surprised, but I'm also somewhat disappointed that people can't figure out simple things. You know, Australia's not in the United States. You can't drive to the United States from Australia. You can't, they speak English in Australia. Spain wasn't colonized. Do you have white people in Spain? I mean, that's just complete and utter ignorance. And it's really not the educate. Well, I suppose, not everybody gets the same amount of education like we do. But like I said, this is just terrible. But again, I'm not surprised. There are stupid people all over the place, and yeah, it makes you wonder. Please click like and subscribe. Thanks for watching this video. Good Lord. Good Lord.